Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Donnie.
And I'm Nick, and today we're rambling with Brad Ouellette about his nature photography.
Excellent. So,
Thanks for having me on, guys.
I appreciate you turning up. It's a kind of a sticky one tonight.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is.
Cold drinks, though.
Yeah, we've got some cool beverages, always from the Soda Pop Bros. But, like, do you do most of your shooting in the spring before this kind of mugginess, or do you just go hard at it all seasons? Like, well, not winter really as much, eh?
Most seasons, like wintertime, obviously, I'll do the owls, the hawks.
Yeah.
And then spring is my main, the songbirds. And summertime, when I do some kayaking, I'll go kayaking, but not much in the summer.
That's kind of gross, eh?
Yeah. I like to venture off into Point Pelee. Like, me and the wife will go out there and scoot around and see what I'll bring my camera with me. And
Nice.
How'd you get into all this?
it's actually kind of a funny one. I used to skateboard for like 12 years.
Okay.
So I bought a little Rebel series Canon,
Yeah.
little kit lens, to shoot my friends and me skateboarding. And I bought it in the wintertime, and my mom used to feed the birds and stuff in the wintertime. So I was like, I got to learn how to use this. So I'd out the kitchen window shooting cardinals and whatever that was around, and then kind of liked it, and then I got addicted to it. And my mom's like, why don't you go to Point Pelee in the spring?
Yeah.
And I went out there and I was like blown away by all the different birds.
Crazy, eh?
And yeah, I remember the first two birds I saw like on the Woodland Trail. It was black and white and the red-breasted nuthatch, and they were both creeping up the tree. And I'm like, what are these things? Couldn't believe it. I'm like, and then all these colorful birds and.
That's funny. That's exactly how I started. I started with BMX biking, getting a camera to photograph my buddies and whatnot, and then same story.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to tell your buddies you were taking pictures of birds?
And
not the kind of birds they probably
I hid it for so long. Honestly, to this day, I don't think there's still people that don't know. They just people are like whatever, and then when they come home or come over to my house, they'll see like obviously like I got some frames of some stuff blowing up in my house. They're like, "What's with the cerulean blue warbler hanging in?"
What's with it?
Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, it's an awesome bird." But yeah, I keep it. Not too many people know about it, but
Your handle on Instagram is like a secret hieroglyphic.
Well, I had a couple buddies that I had Instagram. I had to block them because they were like kept hashtagging Brad's birds, like a million Brad's birds hashtag. I was like, all right, guys, like, I gotta block you.
But it's always pretty much the same story where everybody gets into bird photography, and that's part of the reason for the podcast. We're trying to highlight, what's in this area, and whenever you do see it, it almost becomes an addiction or an enjoyment that you want to.
Yeah.
So with the photography side of things, it only took you a while. Got your first glimpses of those couple of birds. You're going, whoa, this is cool. They're how vibrant these things are. Actually, on the way here, I had to pull over there. I didn't get the camera out, but just seen this flash of black and white wings. I thought it was a kingfisher for a second. And it was a red-headed woodpecker landing on the back of a hydro pool. So I stopped, and it's hopping around as I'm trying to look at it. But that was on the third concessionaire of Kingsville, just at McCain Side Road. So if you're wanting there must be in that bush, must have nested in there. So red-headed woodpecker if you're wanting pictures.
Yeah, I do need that species.
There you go. So, try that on the way home. Yeah, so again, that's just it's a familiar story, and I hadn't heard that from you before either. So it's not like we said about it, but time and time again, that's what you're going to hear. We got into photography or something else, or just was shooting things, and then it's just especially this area, right? Just and it's pretty much every season. Summer's a bit. It's not bad for breeding birds and that. There, you're starting to see the odd bird. It's not as fun to be out doing that because it's so gross.
Yeah.
With the humidity and that there, and bugs, ticks, and everything else that wants to bite you. But so you started off then. You did that with the Rebels and that, and then it was just a progression. Like every year, you just wanted to get more.
Yeah, I think the following year I still had the Rebel, but I bought. Because the kit that I bought was just a 70 to 300, just a little
classic.
Just what didn't do any justice to the birds. And then I bought the Sigma 50 to 500, so I had a little bit more reach. And then that spring I kind of got a little closer to the warblers. And then after I realized like I enjoyed this and was constantly like every time I got done work I'd go drive around, find things. And then I invested obviously in some better gear and. And it just kind of progressed after that, and
so like you're pretty much shooting with the best gear you can get now, right? That's a Canon R5 there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the minute, there would be arguments. The Sony guys would say they're what is A7 or AR?
A7, no, A1.
A1 is it?
A1,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it better than that?
Depends
Comparable?
who you ask. Comparable, yeah.
Okay. So,
Actually, it does like 30 frames a second.
oh yeah.
Yeah, which is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is insane.
But it's like, if you're shooting 30 frames a second, I don't know. What do you need 30 frames a second for?
That's like
Yeah.
It's like,
I suppose you're freezing absolutely everything then. Like
yeah, you might as well shoot video.
Yeah. Exactly. Eh?
Yeah.
So when you got to this level, again, you got the flash and stuff on there, it gives you a bit more. And then I'm not sure if you can see it in the camera, but you've got this little contraption here. You want to explain how you get into this floating equipment? So were you shooting ducks, and then you weren't really happy with?
Yeah, well, with the ducks, I like to get real low, like almost the lens
Yep.
touching the water, but without scooping it with the barrel.
Has it happened?
It hasn't.
Oh.
So thankfully. But yeah, so I just made that little thing out of some ABS pipe and to make it float. And then I got a little bean bag that I sit the lens on so that it sinks also a little bit.
Okay.
So it's like,
Oh, yeah, you're getting right there.
it's
eh?
right there. So
So
I'll
no
only
chop,
go
you know?
no chop. So it's got to be like right now,
Yeah.
dead wind. So I'm in my, like I said, in my buddy's backyard, he's got like all marsh and everything back
Yeah.
there. So it's not too deep. So I'll kind of float out there and I get like blue wings coming pretty close and
Nice.
kind of check you out the wood ducks.
The wood ducks are like,
Yeah.
that's one I've never been able to get close because the second they see you,
Oh
you
yeah. Like
they're
this,
gone.
Yeah.
They smell ya.
Exactly. I think it pretty much is.
Well,
Some of those-
I can rent that out to you.
There you go. Right? Now you start selling the little Etsy shop with the directions for it. Kits sell with the price of plywood. You've got like a quarter sheet of plywood. It's about $1,000. So
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, nowadays,
blind,
yeah,
eh?
for sure.
So, do you focus because you've got the blind? It comes to spring. Obviously, we've got the warblers now out there. Do you find what do you find yourself more drawn towards now? Because like you can't really have everything, right? Because there's
Yeah.
going to be days. Well, I suppose if there's really warbler days, but do you still feel it? Because like when you see your photos, we'll post some of your stuff along with the podcast and stuff, and send your links to your Instagram. But yeah, your photos of both. Like the waterfowl and the songbirds are great, but do you find yourself nice sort of drawn more to one than the other?
Well, I almost have like each month is kind of got, so like March and April is like ducks because they're moving through.
Right.
So I'm constantly March and April's mostly ducks that I'll be going after. And then obviously when May comes around, the songbirds are starting to roll through, the shorebirds, and then summer, and then wintertime is obviously looking for owls or
Right.
hawks, or so each month has its own little.
Yeah.
What's
Little
one
thing.
that you really want to get? Like, you have a bucket list bird?
I've not a bucket list bird, but like my main warblers are my go-to
Yeah.
songbirds so usually like every year without this COVID going on, I usually take a week I went to upstate New York a couple times
Okay.
for the breeding warblers, and then I went further south for the birds that don't migrate or nest quite as high, like Kentucky and
Okay.
worm eating.
Nice.
So I went to southern Ohio.
Oh, yeah. How was that? Pretty cool?
Amazing.
Yeah, really?
Like the park down there, Lake Hope State Park.
Okay.
Like worm eating and Kentucky and cerulean are
Oh,
like
yeah?
everywhere.
Really?
Yeah,
Got
it's
to go there.
it's
Put another one for the list.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really nice park. You got like the streams rolling through and Louisiana water thrushes singing
Is that
everywhere.
like kind of near like Hocking Hills area?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, real close.
That's
Nice.
a nice area too.
Yeah.
There's lots of areas around there. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now you're sort of saying that different months for everything, and is there a species of duck or waterfowl that you're going like you'd love to get better shots at? Because you're saying like I've seen your blue wing shots. I've always wanted really good blue wing shots. I haven't got that good. I've got close to some decent shots, but not obviously not going out repetitively. You're getting lucky where you're sort of like more repetitively trying to get some. But is there any one that you're saying like, oh, I'd love to get a better picture of that?
The species would be green wing teal.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have any shots of
They're
those.
tough. They're even more skittish than
Yes,
the
very.
blue wing, eh?
And I haven't really seen too many areas that are full of them. So like a couple times when I was in my blind there, I heard them because they sound like a shotgun bullet going by here. Because when they fly, it's almost like what was that? And then you look out the hole and you'll see them bolt by you. But I haven't got any shots of those, which it's definitely a target of mine.
It's like a mallard. How close? Do they just swim right up to you?
Well, mallards probably land on the.
Yeah, like
They
pretty
come up
they
down.
don't care, or- That's crazy. That's awesome. I gotta give that a try. I've been talking about it too for like years. Like I live right on the river, and it's like
Yeah, I've had like the wood ducks like come within 10 feet of the blind, like kind of
Just-
looking
yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
it, and what is that?
And you do like sort of the research and things I've done. I wear the ghillie suit sometimes around there whenever I'm out. It really is just more breaking up. With the ghillie suit, I find still they're a bit skittish because they can see that movement.
Yeah.
But whenever it looks more like a blob, I know a girl who does kayaking and puts her blind thing, like a lens coat one,
Yep.
on it in the kayak, and she says the birds don't move at all. Literally, other than just being awkward to get the paddle going. But if you're just sort of starting on here where the water, that's only problem, it's a bit fast. Or you're just floating gently. It says the birds don't care at all. And I think that's a big difference. You see some of these pictures on the internet and sort of more jokingly, but you see guys with
the swan
a
one.
swan suit,
Yeah.
right? Thing is, it works,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It looks ridiculous, but so as long as you don't mind looking ridiculous, or especially in there, nobody can see you, right? And
Yeah.
you're in your buddy's property most of the time, so that's not an issue. But even here, it's a bit public. You get the odd look, but as long as you can get past the
Yeah.
You shoot with a flash in there?
I haven't, no.
No, I was gonna wonder how.
No, I usually only use that for like songbirds
Yeah,
when
that's
it's
what I
like
figured.
cloudy to kind of brighten things up a little bit, little fill.
You ever have any close calls? You had to have close calls, right? Just walking around in the blind there with the camera gear.
Like dunking it?
Yeah,
No, I'm really.
that's what I'm terrified of.
very careful with.
Oof.
I don't want to jinx myself.
Well,
but
Yeah, yeah.
Well, again, obviously, like the first time you're a bit nervous, and as you work along, it's totally
Yeah.
comfortable. You know, kind of what its parameters
Yeah.
are as far as leaning on it, whatever's.
yeah, like that little floating blind there is pretty sturdy. Like,
Can it hold you up if you did trip? Or
no,
no?
it definitely wouldn't.
Yeah, fair
But
enough.
I'm not in real deep water either. Where
Yeah.
I'm gonna. So I kind of take my time.
Sure.
But like even when I'm in a kayak, like I throw my gear in there, and I find a kayak like you almost need to want to flip
Yeah,
it to
right.
actually.
Get low enough and.
You know what I
tilt
mean?
over,
Like
yeah.
roll over and flip it. You almost want to do it.
Oh yeah, try it out a few
To-
times. Yeah,
yeah,
see where the tipping
it's-
point is.
yeah.
I agree.
So I'm not
Yeah.
too.
Even going in my kayak, I'm always like, little. It's got to be pretty good out to bring it.
See, I'd also like to try doing it in the kayak with like a big fishing kayak, like those guys have the pedals and things. But they're pretty much like carrying a boat around.
Oh, and they're like $4,000. You might as well buy an aluminum with a Minn Kota.
Yeah,
Those fishing boats are expensive with the
Yeah.
little motor.
yeah.
They're crazy.
Yeah, I think it's like
Mhm.
2,000 just for the motor,
Yeah,
the
it's
electric motor. Or whatever.
very specific, like vessel. I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, I don't know.
But the fact that you can sort of just pop up on them, right? And you're sitting there, and if someone comes, you can just jump up. But I'm not really going to want to jump
Yeah.
up either. I just
Or
want.
just get a hunting boat when they put all the,
Oh yeah,
put all
the
the
trees around them.
Fragmite on it and everything, and away you go.
Yeah.
I actually got a little scared this past couple weeks when I was in Algonquin in Opeongo.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how big of a lake that.
Oh, it's pretty big. Yeah.
So me and the wife went out to find because we heard of some baby loons that were in one of the bays,
Mhm.
and then like it got real windy,
Oh, yeah.
and it was like white caps.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like I had my
Yeah,
gear, but I
yeah.
had like a rain cover on the whole
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
whole setup there, but. I was kind of like the waves were splashing over,
Yeah.
like I was getting a little nervous. I'm like, "Holy, get me back to the dock!"
Well, that's the thing, you want to. I obviously had an issue with my camera where I got it wet there this year, but you want to use it. There's things you want to shoot. There's the first mosquito in the ear.
It's a
So
tool.
It is. It's a tool. So but there is an element where it's expensive tools, right?
Yeah.
You get them damaged. Even though they tell you there's warranties and things, they're not going to cover it for in their opinion you being stupid.
Yeah.
That's what the insurance is for.
Well, that's it. Well, you're still going to be paying your deductible, I'm sure.
True. Yeah.
Well, the deductible's a whole lot less than
Then
the,
new gear. Yeah.
yeah. And you get a whole truck full of new gear.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
So during the summer months, you sort of go and do the odd bit of camping and sort of focus on whatever you can find. So you're saying you're in Algonquin.
Yeah.
Have any joy up there? How'd that go?
It was actually great. So, other than like the kayaking with the loons, I like to because there's obviously a lot of breeding warblers up there.
Yeah.
So I got Blackburnian, black and white, Perulas, black-throated blue. I was actually shooting black-throated blue on my picnic table.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
that's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, like right on the campsite. So it was
Doesn't
actually
get
cool.
better than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Lauren
so
was
they
like
come-
looking at me like,
It's-
God, you got a problem.
Yeah. They're coming to me.
Yeah, they're right there. I have to do it.
That's great.
Yeah, we heard a lot of northern Perulas when we were up there.
Yeah, there's tons up
Yeah,
there,
it's
and they're
crazy.
so easy to shoot too.
Yeah.
It's
They're nice.
Yeah, and that's the difference. You know, obviously down here we're sort of blessed with the amount of birds that pass through here. You know, once you get
Yeah.
in, there's not a lot of breeding, other than like lots of yellows and the odd one or two of everything else. But like I said, once you go up there, that's where they're going to breed. You know, and some of them obviously go a lot further north, so the opportunities are there. But again, that's we had spoke about before. That, you know, when people say, "Oh, I was in Algonquin and seen this here." There's so much of Algonquin is way off Highway 60, right? No,
Yeah.
the Highway 60 is obviously great if you drive along, get lucky, and you get the bears or the moose or whatever crossing, or you're sitting at your picnic table and the birds are coming to you, but you're not necessarily guaranteed anything, right?
No.
There's
way more bad days.
yeah.
Yeah.
But again, the more you're up there, the more you're doing it, you're increasing your chances.
Yeah.
So if you go up there for a one-off day or a couple of days, and then you like that Instagram account where people give bad reviews.
Yeah.
You showed me this one last night that this couple do.
You follow Me North on Instagram.
oh yeah,
So like they have like another page. Oh, what's it called? It's like some bad reviews. So it's
Yeah.
like they just take their photos and add like the Google reviews that are like some people's bad reviews, and they're pretty funny. There's some good ones.
So they're making the people complain that there's too many people. There's no trees or something out there, and then they have just as the background in the picture of wilderness sort of thing. Nobody around, just the sun rising, and then somebody else will say something.
Like mosquitoes are horrible.
Yeah.
Like don't bother going. And
Yeah,
like,
so they just post it like a meme almost
yeah,
over the
they're
front.
pretty good. It's pretty funny.
But again, that's the same. So whenever people do that, they're one-offs or they don't go up expecting it. You know, in the last, like, you've had issues even trying to book campsites. Just it's explosion, and that's just people just trying to find anything to do. And this sort of younger generation just feeling they can, oh, we want to go and do that. We're going to go camping. Camping's cool now. Bird watching's cool. So
Yeah.
they go and do it, but then complain about everything. Oh, it rained. I got wet. It was outdoors. It was too muggy. It was bugs. And that's the complaints you get. But yet they've taken all the campsites from people who want to be up there.
Yeah.
So do you go like? I know you said you're just up there. So you go like up the Algonquin once a year, or you stay mostly in this area for your photography, or?
mostly is in this area. Obviously, like in the summertime, we'll take a couple trips. We'll take one big one, so like a week in Algonquin, or the one year we did a week in Grundy Lake.
That's some
Tuna.
Yeah, big tuna jumping
Sounded
there.
like it. And then like we'll do the Pinery a couple times. We
Yeah.
do in the beginning of summer, and then we've done fall too, which is pretty
Pinery's
nice.
nice,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's a nice.
Especially in fall when it's dead. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, try going on Thanksgiving weekend though.
Is it packed?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
it's insane.
Is it still full capacity then, or they only have the one section open?
Full everything.
Really? That's
Yeah.
nuts. That is crazy.
Everybody's cooking turkeys, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's actually awesome.
Yeah. That's what we went up to Algonquin. Well, not the park. Every time I say I just say Algonquin because it's the only
region.
place anybody knows up there.
Yeah.
But we do like Crownland camping. We did like all the turkey and stuff out in the backcountry last year. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was fun. Yeah, that's my favorite time to camp. Fall. It's
Oh
amazing.
yeah. Weather's
yeah,
nice.
weather's
Yeah, no
nice.
bugs.
Yeah.
Not hot.
Open up the windows and let the
Yeah.
breeze
Yeah.
go through.
Yeah, it's a lot different. It's more manageable. That's one of the things. Whenever I moved here, and we used to do a lot of tent camping back home. Ours was just you got wet all the time. You could never guarantee having a dry weekend. But coming here, it was like putting the tent up, and I think the first place we went as a family was a campsite in Ohio. And it was like boiling like 100 degrees and humidity all day, and then we're going to the tent, you're just laying sweating like
yeah.
crazy, and then
Feels like you're wet just from
yeah,
sitting
yeah,
there.
and then you wake up at like 2 a.m. That's you done. That's it's too warm. So we quickly sort of packed the camping and doing that kind of thing. That's why I like the idea of these fans and stuff now, where you can get a bit more ventilation and that there.
Sandhill Cranes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're there, someone screaming.
Yeah, maybe grab the cameras at some point here. That was
I didn't even bring my
yeah,
big
Brad's
camera.
the only one who's got.
I'm ready.
ready to go.
Yeah.
I wonder if they did nest in here, eh?
That'd be cool. I haven't done that lap in a long time. You coming closer?
Yeah, for sure they nested there for sure.
Doesn't sound like 50 of them.
No.
Or is
No,
it a pair?
A pair. It's calling it. You see them flying up now with a young one on the back or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Land right behind us.
So what was it? The tent. So like the idea of the vans and stuff. You get more ventilation and things out there, and trailers and the pop-up trailer. So what do you use? You've got a trailer?
I got a pop-up trailer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
yeah, because we did the camping with the tent, and we went to Algonquin, and we were there for 5 days, and it downpoured for 5 days. So we were sleeping in the car. And so she was like, "Well, we either going camping, you either buy a trailer or we're not going no more." So right away, I bought a pop-up trailer, and we've had it for 4 years, and it's just something to get off the ground.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. And then you're not packing wet gear away.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
And then when it does rain, you have somewhere to walk around in, and
right. Yeah, so it's not muddy and right from your feet from the mud into the tent or whatever, or the vestibule of a tent even still not ideal.
And you get to listen to the birds in the morning still.
Yeah.
Our van, it's like you can't hear thunderstorm outside. You're like, what was that, thunder? You're like, you don't even can't hear anything. Kind of miss that.
Running out there or whatever.
Yeah, 5 a.m. I'm always gone.
Yeah.
Be walking through the camper, going to shoot some birds.
Get first light, eh?
Oh, yeah.
So do you, anybody wanting to get into this? So your recommendation is get into skateboarding first, right?
Yeah.
And then sneak around with a small camera. And we've always sort of said in their podcast too, like a lot of it is gear heavy, but I never recommend anybody start, get into it, because there is a huge learning curve between even just the Rebel series up to these things, this kind of equipment, where the investment in money doesn't really make sense for somebody, right? So I'm sure you'd recommend the same thing. Just start off with something small. Do you know what you're going to do, or get into it at all?
You might not even like it.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go out there and spend $10,000 plus on camera gear and then not enjoy it. And so obviously for sure start with something small, a little 100 to 400 or a little 500 zoom lens or something like that, and if you enjoy it, then obviously you'll down the road invest in some better gear. And
what body did you have before the R5?
I had the 70 Mark II.
Okay, nice. That was a pretty good upgrade, eh?
Yeah.
How do you like that R5?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Game changing.
Nice. You use the eye autofocus a lot?
All the time.
Man,
for birds in flight, it's like, because with my 7D, I used to like even shooting hawks, like it would focus on so the hawk would fly by and then it'd grab the grass and then zoom out and zoom, and it kept going back and forth, and you can never get a true lock on it, and then all of a sudden it's gone. This thing you can almost not even look at the bird. It doesn't miss, and it's crazy.
Hopefully Nikon steps up their game. All we have is eye autofocus, and it's cat and dog mode.
Cat and dogs?
It's the biggest, and people. It's the biggest joke. I'm like, come on, but I don't know.
So where is Nikon now with their?
They're coming up with their flagship mirrorless this year sometime. So they're pretty far behind at the moment. Their sensors are really good and their video is really good.
And you reckon so the one that's coming out is out to be
with these? Yeah, it'd have to be. Or else they're screwed. I don't know. Like if they don't have something that it's supposedly compared to the A1, Sony A1.
Okay.
So it'll be like 30 frames a second, same sensor, because they use a lot of Sony sensors.
Oh yeah. So they don't even have their own equipment. It's just botched together.
So Canon's like Toshiba sensors and.
Yeah, but that's
botched together.
Canon's coming out with another flagship too.
R3.
R3.
Yeah. Damn.
Looks pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Now my only issue with that is they're coming out. It's going to be probably a $7,500, $8,000 body, right?
American.
Yeah. And it's still not going to be better than the 1DX.
I don't know.
No, but they said it's not. They said that.
They said
it's
not
positioned between the 1DX and the R5.
But then it's what do you want that's better than a 1DX? Because at that point.
No, but it should be replacing.
I think so. I agree. But it's because how many frames a second is that?
I think 15.
So there's your 1DX already frames a second. Then you have it's like 50 megapixel or something, 40 something.
45,
right?
I think.
Yeah. So it's more megapixels than a 1DX. I don't know. What are you really gaining on the 1DX front now?
I think they still say it's the
top of the line sports photography.
Yeah. So it's.
I don't know why.
It must be
They got to market it somehow, right?
It must be the focus or whatever, the autofocus
Yeah,
on
I mean,
it.
it has legendary autofocus,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have eye autofocus, right?
Yeah, so you wonder how it could be better then.
That's
if
what I'm
it-
saying.
If the R5 and the R3 should have at least as good as this.
Yeah, it was, like has to be better than that
Maybe it's
Right.
pupil.
pupil.
It's closer than the eye. We're going into the
You
pupil.
can't even see the
Pupil.
bird on the screen, and it just locks in for
Yeah,
miles away.
It finds the birds
Yeah,
for you.
infrared.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't let you move it past a bird.
Yeah, no, I wonder. I don't know. It is crazy. Like it's like smartphones, right? It's like every year, it's like it's better,
Right.
better, and you're like,
Why?
how much better is it really better? I mean, they sucker me in every year, but
Yeah, even that field that I saw you a couple times
Yeah.
in Harrow there, like the amount of northern harrier shots
Oh,
that
yeah.
I got because it was just locking on everything that flew by. Like normally I'd be like, yeah, I got 3 shots.
Yeah.
I was just deleting like hundreds because it was just like there's way too many.
Right. That worked out well, that field this year, right? With a couple of really active
is that the one I got
raptors.
stuck in?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice little spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully that there is good again this year. It's handy. I asked the girl, she let me come in. She said you can come and
Yeah.
sit in the field whenever I want. So that was handy. Actually, ever since I sat in the field, the rough leg never showed back up, so I didn't really get. The red tail was there all the time.
That one harrier shot you got there was
It
was
really
nice
pretty
too.
good, yeah. So there's a great field, but listen, if I had the eye autofocus in, I probably would have been even happier with the shots.
How close does a bird have to be to get the eye autofocus to work? Pretty close.
I had
No, like even far away, if it sees the subject, it'll track it, and you almost see the dot like
yeah.
Really?
touching it to
Yeah,
eye.
the way I see it, like, it shoots up like a load of dots, and as it narrows down until there's and every time I've seen it now, it's the last square just locks onto the eye, so
Yeah.
it almost goes to the shape of the bird and tracks it. It's more like it's tracking it. I would assume that's what it is. Like going for it's programmed for like body shapes or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
and then it gets on
So it just knows bird. And it kind of goes to the eye.
So it says, well, this is the skinny part. This is the top end. The eye must be here.
Yeah, 'cause I shoot in the live mode a lot now. I find.
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
then I can almost see it like
Right.
locking, and then you can play with your composition too as you're
Right.
Okay.
instead of like putting your eye into
Yeah.
the thing and
Yeah.
where is he? You can just live mode and.
How'd you
Yeah.
find the EVF going from like a 7D?
I don't know.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
It was kind of weird for me. You found it kind of weird too, eh? Yours a little bit.
Well, so yeah, when we had it looking through there, I'm not sure if it was whenever it was like on my 150-600 when we had it fully out. So if I was getting on that bird at the top of the dead tree there, when it was fully zoomed out looking through the viewfinder, it just looked like it was kind of pixelated almost. Like you see the refreshes.
Yeah.
It was kind of making me kind of queasy. So I don't really like that. But I'm not sure if it was when it changed the stabilization on that. Did it make a difference? It seemed to, but we only focused then on something that was close.
Yeah, true.
Again, I just find it was the first time I looked through that there and just seeing that compared to seeing live, just regular view and then going to the electronic view.
Do you guys have a delay? Like my Nikon will have like
Oh
a
yeah, I remember you were
split
saying about
second.
that.
Like you pick it up, put it in your eye, and it's like a split second before the
Before it
screen
turns
turns
on.
on. Your eye.
It
Yeah,
should
it is,
actually-
it is a
yeah.
little
Laggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just there's lots of pros to it though. Like you can review your photos through it.
Right.
That's pretty awesome
Yeah.
for sure. And then like adjusting settings and everything, kind of like you see exactly what the photo's gonna look like afterwards.
I remember, so I think like the Nikon P900s and 1000 all do that as well. There were a few because I remember whenever Armin got the 7D Mark II, he didn't like that. He's going to me, is there a way that I can view the pictures? I said, yeah, on the back of the screen. He goes, no, with my eyesight because I've got the focused in there. With the P900 or 950 I think he's got, that whenever he's then reviewing it, he wants to review it through the eyepiece as well, rather than the back of the screen. He says he can see it.
Yeah, you don't get all the glare or whatever.
Yeah, so yeah, there's definitely pros to that there. Maybe it's just the fact of trying to get used to looking. But you're saying you use the live mode more, so
Yeah.
it's you don't
Just
even
bigger
care.
screen, kind of, or like use like the bigger screen.
Well, you don't have to. You can sort of have your head
Yeah,
up.
true.
right?
Yeah,
Be
I can
away
just-
from the camera body.
Away from the camera, and I
holding it
can
like a machine gun.
compose it as whatever I'm shooting. I can
Yeah.
put it in the frame the way I want the bird, just on the left side or the right side, or
Nice.
So you're saying you only use you don't have like a tripod, and there's just a beanbag, right?
for when I go in
line?
there. Yeah, it's just a bean bag.
So that was all my thing. Whenever I do the shooting at the lagoons, is trying to find a comfortable position to have the camera sitting at, because I lie on the dike in there.
Yep.
Just can never get anywhere where I sort of feel like I'm sitting comfortably. Sometimes I'm lying on my back and sort of shooting down my chest. You can only sit like that for like 5 minutes, and then so that's my thing. That's why I like the idea of that there. But I know there's another guy, Mike Bonds. He showed his blind, and he's got, so bolted through the plywood. He's got a little gimbal, just screwed onto the thing, and then he can put his camera on, but still get some pretty low, which I thought's a nice idea as well. So there's definitely options.
I had the same idea on my kayak. I have like a little piece of plywood with a bolt, and then the Wimberley will thread right onto it.
Oh, nice.
I just find like the bean bag, because it's like
you're so low, you can't get any lower.
And you can turn it, like if you got to get over more, like with a gimbal like attached to it. You're only limited to so much.
The angle, right? There's no freedom on
the ship's sinking. You can get out of there pretty
quick. It's easier to get off the bean bag. One other thing, so mine, I was thinking, so I've got like my kayak has like cup holders in the middle. I was trying to think of something almost like this, so I'm going to stop talking for a second. But so the way this does it, I want this, so I'll probably cut these legs off and put that into the cup holder, and then put the gimbal on that. So now I've got this range of motion. I don't care about the microphone sounding terrible in the right now, so it is what it is. But I need something to get. But Tara brought this thing home to feed the dog the other day. It's like a big ring with a ball inside, and the ball spins. So one of the dogs eats too quickly. So she got this thing, you put its dry food inside it, and it has to kick the thing around, the little nuggets fall out to make it eat slower. So I thought I could put that into the cup holder and screw it in, and then the ball part of it then would be the same as this but bigger. But notice it spins one direction. The reason it looks like it spins every direction on it is because the red part of it is free, and I want to screw that down.
Getting fancy.
Yeah. That's my thing with the kayak. I still don't feel I've got a really comfortable setup where
Yeah.
I think you definitely want, the end goal is just have it mounted, right?
But yeah, have it mounted, but I want it mounted where you've got the
I get pretty risky out there on the kayak. Like I'll have it sitting on my beanbag, and I'll be wheeling around with my.
Yeah. What kind of kayak do you use? Is it like really wide and
It's
stable?
just your standard Pelican.
Oh, yeah.
It's the fishing version.
Right.
Okay.
But
yeah.
It's probably similar to what you got then?
Yeah, they have the Sentinel one. I'm comfortable in the Ethiopian top one, so it's not. The only thing to Nick today as well, it doesn't drift very nicely. It's because there's no keel on the bottom, whatever. It's quite flat at the bottom. And if I start looking at something, so stop paddling, and I feel like I'm going towards whatever, and so I'm shooting, and then like I can just feel like the boat just starts turning. It doesn't.
Mine does the same thing.
Yeah, that can be a bit frustrating, but that's one of the things too. You end up trying to fill every hole with different things.
Find the perfect boat, right?
Yeah, so you'd have to invent. There probably isn't. I wonder. That's what we should do. We should patent.
Well, like I was thinking,
a kayak for
it'd be
photography.
the best way. Well, probably one of the better ways would be a stand-up paddleboard.
No, I hate that. Have you ever been on them things?
Yeah, they're super sturdy. And then like you can literally stand up on it, but you can put a blind like that right on it, and you just paddle around.
Nah.
I mean, you would not be able to do the distance of like a kayak, obviously.
You must be on a pretty big paddleboard. The one I was on I did not enjoy it at all.
No.
No.
Oh, that's not bad. I never found it like.
I never fell off it, but it was just like it's just one. I don't like that plunging to get the paddle thing going.
Yeah.
And
like something. Okay, that with the fishing electric motor.
Motor stand up, but you want to be close.
Because then you could lay down right in the water.
You might as well just get a fishing kayak then.
I guess.
That's a stupid idea.
Build a dock and put a motor on it.
So, but no, I do think that's one thing that there's a market for, is somebody who comes up with a.
You hearing things?
There's people.
Where? Oh, on the other side.
Probably walking the trail.
Just losing it there. I was like, what is going on?
They're going to see the Sandhill Cranes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there definitely is a market if somebody marketed a photography kayak.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a pretty small market.
No, it's not. I don't think so. I think it's a big enough market.
How many people do you know that? I know that of like probably 50 people that kayak. As of this point, I think I only know 2 people that take photos in the kayak.
Who?
Basically, you two.
Okay. Sarah.
Okay, yeah.
Armin.
She just got her, so yeah.
Okay, so she's had a kayak for a couple of years.
Okay.
Jason Talasco.
Yeah.
Regina Myers. She does kayak trips, and she's big into kayaking.
I think
so,
the fishing one is the way to go, though, like you guys are saying. Because I got like the
Yeah,
sea
I think
kayak.
they're a little wider than.
Yeah.
they're really wide. That's they're.
I got a sea kayak, and it like if I'm not paddling, it'll track perfectly
Yeah,
straight still.
exactly. Here's tracks.
But like you have to put the camera down like in between your legs,
Yeah.
kind of in the compartment, so you see something, you're like yanking it out, and like it's
Yeah,
kind of
that's what I got to
kinda
do for
weird.
mine too.
okay. You'd have the compartment, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so that's
So like right on the compartment where like the cup holder is.
Yep.
That's where I mounted for a
Okay.
gimbal head.
Yep.
It,
See, that'd
it
be
works.
alright.
It works good, but like I said, for if you need to get that
Moving, yeah.
extra,
Yeah,
you're almost gonna tip.
Right,
before-
yeah.
Oh, you
You
else
get
you
that.
could do? Just put like 2 little outriggers out.
Mm.
Then you could lean over as much as you want. You
Yeah.
never flip it.
So you could have like your floating blind and have it that you screw the middle off and then use them as
Yeah.
outriggers. Got music and everything in all
We're
the
gonna get
background. there?
copyright claim now.
Yeah, don't go ahead.
Demonetized.
It's crazy when you can hear people and doing stuff really close and not see anything.
yeah,
Where do you get onto that one? Is that from the Couture Dyke then?
it must
Oh,
be
yeah.
the main one.
Yeah, it's a big. If you do that whole loop, it'll
Oh,
come
yeah.
through here. Yeah. I used to live like 2 houses down.
Oh yeah, perfect. Nice,
Convenient, yeah.
Yeah.
nice. So I think we've covered a lot of ground here. Your photography is saying you post your stuff on Instagram really only, right? It's
Instagram and Flickr is like
Flickr.
Okay.
the 2 places that I post.
So we'll post links to that there. And do you have a site where you sell stuff as well, or
No.
people just contact you?
Yeah, they usually contact me through Instagram or.
Flickr. Do you get much traction on Flickr? Like a lot of
No, not like Instagram.
no.
Instagram's like the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like as well as like to me, like my Flickr account, I can't remember last time I put a picture on, but it was just and they may have changed it. There was too many things you had to do before you got your picture on. At least with
Yeah.
Instagram, if you didn't even do
You don't have to
hashtags
do a
not there,
caption or anything, just
right? Yeah, you can just
upload.
do it. Where Instagram, you had or Flickr, you had the
Yeah, choose. Yeah. Choose a copyright.
Yeah,
everything,
yeah. So I kind of got out of Flickr, but I know people still post a lot on there and like it. And
I think it's really the only photography website, right? They can just post like photos and that's it. And
well, they got them 500 pics PX and
oh yeah, true.
what was the other one? Fewbug. See some of them. Did you ever go on any of them?
500. I was on 500 PX for a bit.
I'm,
That's all right.
it's decent, but to me, it starts taking the joy out of it whenever you're thinking about having to go home and
Post,
edit the
yeah.
photos first and then find 3, 4,
Yeah.
5 sites to start posting
Becomes
these
a
things.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when I try to post on Instagram to like think of something to write
That's
or a
I'm the
caption.
same way. Yeah. Like
Oh.
yesterday, I'm sitting in the van. We're at work. And I'm like trying to figure out what to write about these bears. I'm like, I don't know what to write. I just delete the caption like 10 times. It takes me 3 hours to make a caption.
and
It's
then
I'm
just
the
crap.
same way.
Yeah.
Lauren looks at me like, just write something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I get real lazy. I'll just make bears.
Bear.
And then here's the camera I use.
Bears somewhere in Canada.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all you're getting. Oh no, you start. Remember, you to fill a bit of space. You start putting your camera settings.
Yeah. Then I kind of got a. Oh, if I do like a landscape one, I'll do the camera settings.
Yeah.
But like the like wildlife photos, camera settings.
Right, yeah,
you're
so-
usually shooting like manual, it's like auto
Right.
ISO or something like that. Anyway, I don't know. What do you shoot? You shoot manual, auto
I was
ISO,
just gonna ask you that. I shoot
aperture.
aperture.
Yeah,
priority,
I did aperture for years. This year I changed to manual, shutter, and like aperture, and then auto ISO. Like it way better.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
because you can be like, if it's a spot where the bird's not moving, it's just sitting there. You can like drop your shutter speed right down to like whatever 1/250th of a second or something like that. Like it's not doing anything, or you can crank it up and it just your if you want the shot, you have to adjust your ISO, regardless, right? So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like that.
I've been trying to move over to manual, kind of
Yeah.
playing around with it, but I haven't
The auto
Totally-
ISO is good.
totally
Yeah.
jumped
Yeah.
over yet.
And then you could set your high and like your high limit.
Right,
So it'd be like, I
yeah.
never want my ISO to go over 3,000 ISO or whatever, right? And then, which even that's kind of stupid. You might as well just make it go like 5,000.
Well, yeah. Well, it depends. If you're wanting close-ups, you want lower ISO rate, and once further away, you're not getting enough feller detail and things. Like, excuse me.
Whoa.
Not getting enough feller
Mouth
detail.
fart?
Oh,
Mouth fart?
yeah, it's a good pop. It's whenever I've lost my train of thought. So the ISO, right? Whenever it's not close up and you're not really getting a lot of feller detail, if it's a bigger bird, than that the ISO, especially in these cameras, like you don't even care about the ISO,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, 2,500 ISO is like so
Yeah,
good now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not as big an issue. But if you're doing anything close, you still want your ISO low just for. But like we're saying with these new programs now, the
Topaz denoise.
Yeah, denoise not
it's
there.
phenomenal. It doesn't even make
Incredible.
sense. Doesn't even make
Yeah,
sense.
you can shoot at whatever
That's
ISO, and
right.
that thing will just wipe it
Yeah,
right
it's
out.
crazy.
No noise.
And then it's like even like you could have like a camera from like 10 years ago. This is going extreme, but but you could do like a 10 megapixel camera. You can now use like Topaz
right
gigapixel.
and gigapixel
Makes a ginormous
file. Yeah.
picture, right? And then you go Topaz denoise.
Yeah.
And then you have. I mean, it's still not as good as like the true thing, but it's like insanely good.
Again, it just comes back to unless you're with some sort of marketing company where they're demanding some sort of specific.
Yeah, ultra crisp research. I don't even
know.
know.
Nobody's going to know, right? If you're posting it to the Facebook sites and Instagram, that it doesn't. That's the picture's going to look fantastic.
Yeah.
You know,
Instagram's not even one megapixel.
right? Yeah,
And then Facebook's like 2 megapixels. So like 1.9 something.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
So that doesn't matter. But like I said, so with me now, I'm starting to get annoyed with shooting aperture. I was starting to find it whenever I wanted it to be a faster, it wasn't fast enough. You know, it was still picking a slower shutter speed.
Yeah.
So you're missing more shots. Where I find it, you know, especially when I'm putting an auto ISO, like I'll put it nearly everything at 600, and you're getting all of, especially unless it's a hummingbird.
Yeah,
you're always going to capture them in flight.
That's kind of like how I'll have it like 1/500 or 500th of a second, and then if something's flying or whatever, you crank it up, or I can.
Yeah.
Usually, I don't go much lower than 500th of a second unless it's like really sitting there and I'm like trying to get as much light as I can.
Yeah.
Like a moose or something, it's like not moving.
Yeah, it's not. And a lot of stuff with the cameras, just the technology now. It really doesn't like. The ISO isn't a problem for me, right? I'm not even with the 60 we had there, I wasn't too concerned.
Unless you're like 10,000.
Yeah,
You might as well shoot at like night.
That was like my main thing when I was like looking to buy a camera was ISO performance. Because for me, I'm always shooting. Like my favorite time is obviously in the spring for warblers, rainy days.
Right.
Best days to go.
Yeah,
The colors are just popping.
Yeah.
So high ISO on cloudy
megapixels
days.
really don't do anything anymore for
No.
you. Like even like all the flagships, right? Like 1DX, I think it was at 24 megapixels or something. I don't know.
Yeah, even out there, you don't need the 45 megapixels.
It is nice though.
Well, of course, it's always nice to say you got.
The files are humongous.
Yeah.
Oh, bad, eh? Doesn't take long to fill the hard drive.
What, like 50 megabytes?
Yeah, it's insane.
It has to be about that, eh?
'Cause I think I'm like 30 megabytes for that, and it's like 24 or something.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It filled my computer up real quick.
Yeah, Canon's working with some computer places just to jack up computer seals as well, hard drives. Yeah, so the cameras or the technologies are now that it's phenomenal, right? And saying like shooting, that's why I went into more sort of going to manual. It's still my go-to's aperture priority, right? You just it's quick, it's easy, so you don't have to think a lot. But whenever you're it's kind of almost cheating because whenever you put it in, fish jumping in the water right at us. When you put it in aperture, if you're putting auto ISO and you're letting it pick the thing, you're really only and you're probably going to pick F8. Right? Well, what have you done? Right? It's pretty much on full automatic. But yeah, like that's going to manual. It's really just for the point of sort of like I want it around 600th of a second. It's 1/600th of a second.
I found I got a lot more keepers going that way. Like I'd go home and like you'd have more birds in focus,
right?
Like just from things moving or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. The only problem with that is you end up with more good pictures, but you're only ever going to post one of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whenever you get
That's
one, when you get one species, doesn't matter how many, like because that you're only going to get good reaction to one of them unless you keep one and post it again next year, or later in the year. It's like sort of a little look back to I haven't been shooting much here. A little look back to spring, and you post a slightly different picture, but still, you go. It's just as good as the one I posted earlier.
Birds on the tree, you hold a trigger for 3 seconds. There's
there you go.
Like
That's
30, 40 pictures.
Yeah, and they're all
that was like my black and white in Algonquin.
Just held the
weeks
trigger
ago.
there.
It was just sitting there singing for like 5 minutes, and I was just blasted away. And I'm like, all right, well that's
hopefully
a lot.
there's one.
There's an hour of deleting.
Well, that's it. No, keep rate. You're still, even when you've got good pictures, so your keep rate might go up slightly, but your using rate then, the amount you're going to use, it's totally pointless to have that many pictures and say, they're all great, I'm saving them, keeping that.
I do.
Well, I keep them. I'm not saying I don't. Like, but it's pointless.
Yeah. I don't know why I do. It's like I don't know. Like right when I get home, I'll clear that whole hard drive or my whole memory card onto a file.
Yeah.
And back up that file. for
So
reasons.
you've got 2 copies of all your blurry pictures.
Yeah, all my blurry pictures. Even the blurry ones are saved for some reason.
Well, I'm the same. I have started.
I think it's more just because I'm too lazy to go through the blurry pictures. That's definitely what.
Well, I've started to see, and that we spoke about this before with cataloging how I was sort of process the keeping and where we put them, and I am nowhere near like, I have too much junk on my
same.
lap. I'm saving everything, and then I've started to now go through, and whenever I start changing the blurry one, so my first look through the pictures, it's like, just deleting everything. It's kind of blurry, and then I look at them, and as long as there's a really sharp one, like that gets the flag or the stars, and the next one then I'll delete the one that's kind of wasn't as softer focus or whatever. So I'm deleting that, but then I'm still looking like I'll look through them maybe in a day or two, and I've already posted the one I like the most.
I'm over it after that. After I
So
post that first one, I'm over it.
you're done, right?
Yeah.
That's where you're worse than me as far as
Yeah, because like if I go up on it, like I already know, if I go to Manitoulin or whatever that area, if I'm not editing those pictures by the time I come home and I go to Gas Bay, I might not even ever even look at those pictures.
There is one thing we've been away. You haven't posted like some of the.
Yeah.
You haven't even touched them.
One day.
Did you ever post like? Remember, so when we were up in the winter in Algonquin?
Yeah.
Did you ever post those night shots?
Night shots. No, I never posted night shots.
Never did.
No.
It's.
I'm bad for that too.
Yeah.
I'll just.
It has to be
A
something.
couple springs will go by, and I just got all these warblers
Yeah.
that I should have edited, and I just haven't got around.
But
to
then
it.
the adrenaline. That's what the adrenaline kick's gone as well. So you don't even want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got these pictures, and they could be not your best ever because of the way you go. Oh, I should have posted that, and you will.
Yeah.
But in general, you've you'll have them there. It's got past that. You've maybe went and shot something else. That's the newest thing in your mind, and you've almost then forgot about your last
Yeah,
series.
exactly.
And even though there's good shots.
I'm
in
just thinking, what's the caption going to be on this shot? And I just get rid of it.
I can't think of a caption. It's gone.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
Well, caption will come one day.
Yeah.
How do you catalog your stuff?
Well, I put them in like warblers all in that file, and
Okay.
kind of almost
Oh, yeah.
categorize it like that.
That's
but
kind of how I went this year with birds anyway. Made it real. I broke it down probably almost too much now.
right now it's just a bunch of dates because I haven't went through
Right.
Yeah.
nothing, so there's just so much files that I got to go through and edit, and I'm way behind.
Just
right
waiting for
now.
that rainy day. Eh?
Yeah.
Never comes.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's rainy. I probably should go to the computer. Then you just turn on the TV.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
eh?
same.
It
Probably
is-
should have did
yeah.
some editing.
Yeah.
It's like there is. I'm not one of them. Really enjoy editing. Like I just want to do it as quickly as possible.
I
but-
like landscape editing a lot. I
Yeah,
don't like,
but that's
bird
the
editing.
landscape editing. You're creating a picture,
Yeah.
right? You're creating somewhere. The bird one, you're just trying to make it look as true to
Yeah,
reality as possible. So you're not really over
Yeah,
processing.
Yeah, it's a quick
A lot of
edit.
times I gotta like edit it, and I'm like, I find myself like going cross-eyed. Then I gotta like walk
Yeah,
away
that's
for
right, yeah.
walk away for like 10, 15 minutes
Yeah.
and come back and stare at it real quick. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
it looks pretty good.
Yeah, no, and that's I've always done that too. It's like sometimes I'll even go away for a day because it's whenever you see how I got that point is seeing other people's pictures on the internet. I'm going, oh, I like that, and then when I say, go, well, why do I like that? And then it goes like, oh, it's like quite saturated or whatever. It's and then I'll do the same to mine. So maybe mine wasn't too, because sometimes I'll do something that's oversaturated or I've made the colors look fake or whatever, and then I'll go back and I'm like, oh no. So I've left it for a day and I've been just going about and obviously looked on Facebook and that there or whatever.
What's going on?
Fish. Oh, it's a frog. Look, it's coming right out at us.
Oh, it is. Oh,
That was quite a splash for a little guy, eh?
Leopard frog.
Muskrat out
Yeah.
there somewhere, maybe.
What's a frog? It came out. Hey,
I can't see.
it's right on the ground there.
Oh, I don't know.
Kind of
I
frogs.
believe you.
There's a big splash, yeah.
I'll
So
fall in the water.
the process was then like sometimes you're too critical because you've seen what your original file looked like, and then you start playing with it. You start to go, well, that's what it originally looked like. Now look where that slider is. Look
Yeah.
how far this one up. Maybe it's not, but that is the problem. Go away 15 minutes, half hour, go and do something, come back and see. Oh no, actually I don't mind that. It's
Yeah.
it looks okay.
I think that Milky Way picture I posted a couple days ago or a week ago or whatever.
Oh,
that
from the
tree.
tree.
I was like, I wasn't even gonna post it. I'm messaging Josh. I'm like, is this too overdone? Like,
Right.
because he's like, that's the first time ever using a tracker too.
Yeah.
And like, when you get your image, it's like the most dull image ever.
Right.
And like the raw image, right? And then you end up with like a vibrant Milky Way shot.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I took like 3 days, and then I was like, I'll post it.
Yeah.
You like stitch those?
Yeah, it's like, so it's a tracker. It's like, so it's following the stars, right? So Have you ever shot astro at all?
Nope.
So if you like just shot a picture right now for like if it was dark for like say an hour, shooting that one direction, you'd have like streaks of the stars because the stars are moving, right? So like this is like tripod head essentially follows the stars at the same motion, so you can do like a 1 hour exposure and those stars are still pin sharp. So then you're taking say 100 pictures throughout the night, and then you're stacking them all on top of each other with like a special software, and then you like add that to a landscape shot. So that tree we shot on the way home from where we were shooting the Milky Way. So it's like technically it's a well not technically it is a composite shot. So it's like it is really is a fake shot, but.
Fake. Now I have started going away like that. You know, follow Nightscaper on Facebook. Everybody's going too composite now.
Oh yeah, it'd be like like Detroit skyline with like Milky
Way behind
like,
it.
with a little
Yeah,
too
there's
much.
there's some stuff in it. Some of, like, and again because you know how it's done as well. It's you start going like. Some people can take great photos off this kind of thing without having to do that. I can understand the focusing on the foreground, get a shot, and then going and doing the Milky Way. But some of these things are, like you're saying, you're now going to locations.
Yeah,
you know.
but no matter what, anyone who uses a stacker or a tracker, it's a composite shot, right?
Well,
no matter what. But I don't know, and it's like it's cool. Like if you don't know how it's done, it's part of the magic,
right?
Right?
No,
like,
absolutely.
which is majority of the people don't know how it's done.
Well, and then if you told them, they'll be so
Yeah,
disappointed.
Use Photoshop.
You're so annoyed, right? Because there is other people who genuinely look at these pictures and just think, "Wow, how do you,
how come it
I
doesn't
need to
look
go
like that in
there."
my backyard?
Or even with like aurora shots. Whoa, look, I need to go up north to see the aurora because it's so much more green.
Yeah, prepare to be disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. Do you ever do like the Northern Lights, auroras, green? So it's.
I haven't, no.
No, so I haven't found it over here. I've only ever seen it back home. I don't want to start because I get annoyed. But you see the shots and you can see it with it. Now, I know when you go to the more northern areas, it is a lot more vibrant green, so their experience is wow. But whenever you see it down this way, it's never as bright, so it is like the longer exposure. So the details are there. That information is there, but your eyes are never picking it up, right? So the camera picks it up to somewhat, and then you put it on, you process it, and you make it a bit more green again. And people get blown away and love people's photos and think they're the best photographer ever. And then if you do it and sort of explain how it's done, they're all like,
You cheater.
"You cheater! I seen somebody else's photo." They did exactly the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
it's
A lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, that's, again, there's no problem because there is an element where it's art, right? I think the wildlife stuff is a bit more
True.
You are just representing what you seen whenever.
I think like National Geographic and all those guys have like insane like they don't even want you cropping.
Right. Yeah. They're. But again, and that's just to keep. And I agree with that there because I remember like Getty photos back in the day was hard to get into. You had the process to get a Getty, but now they'll just take any. But I know they use iStock as well now, so that is Getty, but it's an easier way to get in. And then you might get on. Now, if you get so many on iStock, then or you're getting used, they sort of call you a Getty one.
Yeah.
But
That's a funny one. I told you a story when I'm sitting at my friend's shop, and Kale's picture comes up on the
the screen,
like on Windows
the
login screen, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, is his mom like? I thought it was my picture at first because we're both there the same day taking pretty well same shot. I was like, oh, his mom's got my picture on there. Then I'm like, oh, it's Kale's shot. I'm like, so I messaged Kale and he looks and he's like, oh, they gave me like 48 cents or whatever for it.
So the whole world,
Windows
used it for their starting to get those pictures, or even whenever you're watching Google Chrome now.
Yeah, they come through on
picture.
there. Yeah.
Like you think the photographers are getting money for it? They're like 48, not even a buck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
48 cents.
Yeah, the stock photography is like, or you like I don't know if you got them all. Remember a couple of years ago when like I got like someone bought like 10 pictures and it was like equated like $1.40 or something on like stock.
That was from 500px, wasn't it?
I forgot where it was from, but a whole bunch of photographers did. Like everyone was like posting on Instagram like, oh, big build, big sale this week or whatever. Everyone's making like $1, $2.
There's no money. And obviously there is like for the paparazzi type of thing, and then so if you're a National Geographic photographer, it's a different ballgame, but there is, and I agree that there should be strong stipulations to be a National Geographic. It shouldn't be everybody and their uncle just send their pictures in. If they have a standard, and if you
should be like as real as possible, right?
Yeah, it's like if you compare that to the real animal, and you're saying that's good, and you can see obviously ethical ways of taking photos as well. A lot of these guys who then do like expeditions and things. They're not necessarily, I'm not going to say contrived photos, but if you go on a safari, you're in a there's gamekeepers taking you to the animals as
Yeah.
well. So the element of you actually being out, you're not out in the jungle and creeping through, because all these areas are now so well protected.
Yeah, they know exactly where the lion is
Yeah.
going to be. They know exactly where
Yeah.
the whatever's going to be.
So there, you make your own luck. Obviously, if you're the sort of better way to do it is to be part of an expedition where you're not just a tourist, you're there as a respected
Research
photographer.
guy.
That's part of the team, rather than being just putting your tourist dollars in.
Yeah.
I think Dave Sanford is like that. Do you follow Dave Sanford at all?
No.
So he's a NHL professional photographer in NHL, and but I say like he's always just loved wildlife. He lives in London, and for years, without sort of sharing them or posting them, he would go to Port Stanley and photograph the waves.
Oh, I have seen that.
So he went out, he'd sit there, he's got the waterproof gear on, he's sitting in the waders and dry suiting out there right in the water. The waves he's got the long lenses, so he's shooting waves that are quite far. But Port Stanley, because of the way the water is quite shallow, the waves pop up, so he's getting these things that all look like stuff. So didn't post it for the longest time, and then about a year, sort of after, a couple of years doing it, he posted like a collection of these here, and it went viral on Board Panda. And then he started getting people asking him to do, expedition stuff. And now, I think I don't know, you could probably be corrected. He used to say that 80% of his income was NHL and 20% was his other photography. And he says after that and he started doing these expeditions. I think he does like a couple of Arctic expeditions. He gets invited to do one in Australia for wildlife now. That he's now making 80% from his. Now COVID's hit, so it's probably back to the other way around. But he's now making 80% of his money from his wildlife and other shots, and 20% is NHL. And if he's a professional NHL photographer,
Pretty cool to switch the other way like
Yeah.
that.
yeah. But he was one. So whenever they had the bubble last year, they only had like 4 photographers, and he was one. He was 2 guys in Toronto and 2 guys in wherever the other bubble was. Was it in
Edmonton?
Edmonton,
I think
that's
it's
right.
Edmonton.
So like there's only the four of them doing it. They done all the photography.
Yeah, there's like the absolute top of the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah,
there.
but
That's
if you ever see it, check his stuff on Instagram. He
I
does
remember, I have seen
The
the
waves, that's
the
pretty
waves.
cool.
his
Yeah.
wave stuff's phenomenal. It's
Like the lighting hitting the
Yeah,
waves coming
yeah.
up.
yeah.
nuts.
So he ever since he done that, now you go to Port Stanley, I go with Jerry, and Jerry's friendly with Dave, and you go up there,
hundreds of people.
and it's like, honestly, you get a wavy day whenever the winds are right there. Like you're walking, there's probably 30 photographers just
Really?
lined
Yeah.
up on the beach. Now they're not as like Dave will always be the one with the goggle. He's got goggles on. He's got the suit on. He's
Gets
got
right
the
in there.
neoprene, and he's sitting, and the waves are just washing over him. And he's just sitting right in the water.
Wow.
Does he have a housing for his long lens or no?
No.
No. I was
No.
gonna say I've never seen one for like.
So he puts like
600 or something.
he
That'd be
just
crazy.
puts like the rain jacket on that there. So he is, if he sees it, he's not usually, he's usually where the wash comes up. He's not in where the waves are just constantly crashing on him.
Yeah.
But as the water swells, he's sitting there for longer, and then whenever he starts, he's always pulling the camera as soon as he sees a bigger wave out of the way.
Yeah.
But it's so when he's doing that, he's only got the waterproof sleeve over the lens on the body. When he does like underwater stuff, he's got all the housings for that there, where it's actual doing sharks and things like that there, wheels and all that kind of stuff.
That'd be pretty
But
cool.
it's amazing at how he's went from like the NHL.
So was he doing wildlife really before?
No, I don't know 100%, but his wildlife stuff is just because he's just in tune with nature. Likes being out in nature.
So he wasn't going to like Australia and stuff.
Not
before?
until then. Again, I only ever heard like an abbreviated story of it, so I'm not sure exactly. He's done a couple of talks at photography clubs and that, but it was that once those pictures went viral is when he started getting, and then seen some of his other photos. Then I'm pretty sure he was doing 2 expeditions up Arctic way, like Alaska and up around there on boats.
That's where I want to go.
Yeah,
Alaska.
yeah, be sweet, eh?
Yeah.
And then
Good drive.
the Australia one, I think he's a sister or something. Somebody connected to him in Australia, then got him to go down and I think it's like doing the sharks and stuff in Australia. And he was doing that once a year. And obviously with the NHL, you've got a lot of free time as well. So he was doing that whenever he wasn't doing NHL stuff. But he was obviously getting paid, so not necessarily making money from selling his photos or whatever, but he was doing workshops and he was leading not leading the expedition per se, but being the photography side of the expedition, telling people what to do, where to shoot, and how to shoot, and things like that there. So No, there's definitely always opportunities out there. It's just, as like with all these things, you make your own luck. He is a good photographer, and he's just noticed for other stuff through that. But no, there's definitely opportunities, and there's like we were talking about earlier. Canada, there's a lot to see, right? There's a lot of opportunities to go and see some good wildlife, nature photography. It's plenty of opportunities, and you don't have to go too far. Obviously, we're down here, we're not getting the wildest of wildlife, but like you say in Alaska, you go that direction, stuff start going into other parts of Canada, different like Kodiak bear. Oh, big grizzly would be awesome, eh? Just
Alaska's known for that one.
Yeah. And even you
BC,
talk about bald eagles, out there and things out there, you get no flocks of them.
Yeah.
Whenever the fishing boats come in or whatever, it's just
you beat them out of your hand.
Yeah.
Humber, Alaska, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So there's definitely opportunities, and I don't think we'll ever run out of things to shoot.
Oh
Definitely
so
not.
hopefully get the shutter clicks up in the camera, but like I
You
said,
don't save your mileage?
what
You don't save your mileage on your camera?
I should do, eh?
Yeah.
Made me think about that. Not use as many.
Imagine if it
clicks.
had like an odometer. What was that landed on you?
Oh, didn't like it. See, like, well,
Wasp.
is it? Is that not me? What is it?
No.
That's a deer fly.
Yeah, nice. Sorry, that definitely made a noise,
that's
eh?
gonna be a loud one for sure.
I wasn't taking the risk. So what did you say there at the end? Oh, it's the clicks, yeah. So, like, are you when you take photos, do you just hold the trigger down, and are you like selective?
I'm not selective, but if he's obviously the bird's looking at me, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Put the hammer down.
Oh yeah, the hammer's going down for sure.
See, my problem out there is there's bald eagle getting chased. My problem is that, like I said, I don't like editing. And you're even worse because your files are massive now. So like that, and when you put the hammer down, it's unless you're deleting pictures, it's on you now, right in your forehead. Perfect.
Let's ignore him.
Yeah.
Till it bites me.
Yeah. So just the idea of I've become more selective. Like I used to be a bit more. And again, if the bird's active, I'm not gonna. I'm never thinking I'm trying to save shutter clicks. Let's put it that way. But I try to be just from the point of view going home and I've got like 1,000 pictures and I'm nah, it's not for me. I don't want to have to look through 1,000 pictures.
I do it sometimes. Like the moose and the calf, I took like 500 pictures of that,
Right.
and I was like, I don't know why.
Well, like, so the moose that we got in, what was that, spring?
Yeah.
There was 6 pretty good sight.
We unloaded on that moose. So
Yeah, and then I'm sitting looking. I'm going back, going like,
it's
why?
the same picture, and he's like, especially a moose, it doesn't move at
Yeah,
all.
it wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
I
I think it's because you're just so excited. You're just like, yeah, for sure.
Well, the ones the one when we're watching, it was drinking water. So I was unloading, trying to just get nice water droplets coming out of it, put its head up. I don't think I got any shot. I'm going like, I just not the wasted shutter clicks. I mean, I just wasted time. So I'm looking through all these, and none of them give what I wanted. From it.
Yeah,
Well, you got some moose last week. Did you get good shots of moose, or just good sightings?
Yeah, it was just good seeing.
Yeah.
It was getting a little dark.
Yeah.
So, that's fine.
I did crank up the ISO on that, and I did fire off some shots.
Million ISO, hey?
Yeah, it was pretty high. But just to be able to show
Yeah, exactly.
family and friends
Yeah.
like, look at the size of this thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. You ever see him walking by like next to a car?
That's what I want.
That's when I'm on the way back to the campsite there. The one was on the road.
Oh, yeah.
And you have like scale. Yeah, I got a picture of like the cow walking next to cars, and it's just dwarfs SUVs. It's so crazy. You see him in the bush, like you're like, yeah, it's a big animal, but next to a car, you're like, that's insane.
That is whenever you always get the best pictures, the best thing people's video is whenever they stopped on the highway.
Yeah.
This thing just trotting across the road, and you just see its legs, right? And its body. And that we were even saying that when the ones we tried to track in the winter. So we got off Highway 60. We've seen this, like, we had drove up Highway 60, didn't see anything, and then was seen on the way back, like, a bit of snow across the road, and then these footprints into the things. And, we'll have to go and track it. So we parked down the bottom of this hill, walked up, climbed over the barrier, and just sunk into snow up their waist. And their bellies hadn't even touched the snow. We could just see leg marks.
Yeah.
We're gonna
We got like here to like this tree. It took us 10 minutes, and we were dead.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm like, there's no way we're getting it, because we were hoping it was gonna get like not as much snow. Oh, Sandhill
How'd they get
Cranes.
down here? They're walking the trail. They were listening to the music.
Yeah.
They
Right.
were,
No wonder we couldn't see the people. Yeah, I don't know how they were efficient in the north. That is for sure.
it's just how they move, right?
Couple kingbirds.
Yeah. I got a bit of grass. I must have liked something there.
Yeah, I don't know how they move. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
But yeah, it's always good seeing moose. It's just
Well, in like the
Yeah.
Algonquin language, moose means eater of twigs.
eater of
Yeah,
twigs.
something very similar to
The word,
twig,
so the word moose is
yeah, twig eater or something. It's like because like they're always just munching on twigs and like I don't know, they are fascinating creatures.
yeah. They are like they're exciting to see, right? You know,
Yeah.
we see a lot of deer, but I wonder, do you think people up there just take it for granted or too? If you live up around
'cause
that way,
you'll be on the side of the road taking pictures. You'll have 100 cars drive by. They don't even care. Then
Yeah.
you get the trucker that's
It's
laying on the
scaring
horn,
them
you're like,
off,
Come
yeah.
on.
oh, well, that might be good. Sometime maybe get one rearing up or
Yeah,
something, or
freaking
just
out and
that would be sweet too.
yeah.
Good shots of
That
it.
is the good part about Highway 62. It's like Point Peely when it's like no COVID.
Right.
Like 100 people are all
Right then, you know, there's
packed
a
in
moose.
at one area, right? And you're like, oh, you go over a hill, 20 cars pulled over.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, something there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always handy, eh? So
Yeah.
somebody helps you out like that. But did you say you seen bear up there? You did,
I didn't see
you
a
did
bear,
say?
no,
Because you
no.
were talking about the bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it's such a random thing, right? You know, and that's the beauty of wildlife photography, eh? You know, If you went out and got stuff, you would start taking. There we go.
There they are.
Sandhill Cranes.
Sandhill Cranes in the background, people. They're going to come around. Oh
Yeah.
no, call them in.
Couple swallows chasing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Did you go to Mew Lake at all when you were there? Walk the field?
I
big
I
airstrip?
biked along it. Yeah.
Was there blueberries when you went? Did you notice?
There was bushes.
There's
like
bushes,
the
alright.
low in the I don't know what.
Yeah,
I
because
didn't-
you noticed the blueberries if they were there. Because like that whole field is like
It's a
packed,
it's
packed
a-
with blueberries. So
That's
usually when
the
the
bears just
blueberries
come
are there, the
snacking
bears
there.
are just
Oh yeah.
they just sit there and just feel. You'll be like it's crazy. There's not bears everywhere, but you'll see like there was a time like I haven't really went when the blueberries are like peaked in a couple years, but like when I would go, there'd be like bears just eating blueberries everywhere.
Oh,
You
yeah?
see like 3 or 4 bears in that little
I
area.
always see like the signs along
Yeah.
the trail there, like
So that's
watch
always
for
pretty cool.
bears
Yeah.
and. But they did have like the low little
Yeah, it's all
shrubs
that
or
little
whatever.
shrubs that are
I
covered.
didn't really go in there and start
It's
Yeah,
scratch,
scratch your hand,
scavenging
yeah.
and seeing if
Seeing
there's.
how fresh the poop was. And
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, so that's the wildlife's good because it's not like I said, you're not always guaranteed something. So I think that makes it a bit more exciting when you do get something, right? And you get excited about it, keeps you excited. Or, for example, if there's moose down here all the time,
It's like our deer. How often
Yeah,
do
how
you
often
stop
you
for
stop for
deer
it,
now? I don't know.
very
Yeah.
rarely, unless you think you're getting a real. Like, the
Yeah.
minute you'd stop because there's fawn or something like that there,
Yeah.
you know, the young. But
Have you yet to see a fawn this year?
Tara, we're driving
Actually,
up,
no, we did
Dri-
Windsor
dri-
Airport.
driving down the third concession near the end of it on the Arner, and Tara goes, "Oh, you see the deer there in the house? There's a house just right there." I said, "No, stop!" And it didn't have my long lens on my camera. I had the other one on. Telling the kids, grab my camera back. No, not getting it. Get the grab. And
You walk home.
yeah. So the eventually got it, and then it took me a couple of minutes to get everything back on it. Then drove down, they were gone already. But they were, whenever she said, I could just sort of see them in my mirror, just at the edge of the field. So they must have been starting to walk out of their property. But again, that's good. I missed it. It makes me want to try and get another shot.
That's the best part about the whole photography thing, though. It's like you're never 100%. You're super happy at that moment, but like you're always like, wish I had.
Right.
It turned its head a little more
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what keeps us going back out again,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
A lot of times I'll be like, oh, if that slight head moved
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
been a little bit towards me, this would be like the perfect shot.
The worst is when you have like a little blade of grass in front of you.
Just,
You don't
yeah.
see it when you're looking through the
Yeah.
viewfinder and you get home. You're like, it's just like
Where'd
a
that
little
come
blurry
from?
part. You're
Right,
like,
right down its
man.
eye, and you can't even
Yeah.
edit it out because it's really awkward or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think the
Yeah,
sun's
1
nearly
hour.
setting. We're in an hour.
Hour and 10
God, you
minutes.
talk too much. Hey, it's
Yeah.
a bumper edition.
Yeah.
So,
We're gonna make it 2 parts.
two-parter. That's some people complain that these are too long, but you are a proper podcast listener. You just listen to it in the background, whatever you're doing, work
Yeah.
and things like that. There, there's people sort of say they're too long, but there's some of the people who are like an audience that watch it like a TV program. So
Oh, okay.
I can understand. Like I wouldn't want to listen to myself for an hour. But there is some people now who listen to it in a couple of parts. But yeah, I think that's the idea of trying to get across. And you being a podcast listener, you know the premise. You just put it on the background and get on with your day and
Yep.
listen to it. So no, I've appreciated you coming on and
thanks.
showing us the gear and that there. And
Yep. Thanks for having me
yeah,
on.
no problem. So if we hook up later in the year or whatever and shooting some other stuff, we'll get you on again. not that we've run out of guests, but I think it's one of them things that I want to have some of the local guys back on again. Things just we're just here rambling, right? So if you're ever up to something, I think you've got anything, if you've gone on a trip or something, someone's been cool, just let us know and we'll set up another go at it. But I think I'm rambled out. You anything else?
That was a good one. Yeah.
You all good?
Yeah.
So we'll have to say it's a goodbye from Nick.
Goodbye from Donnie.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Did a little wave.
Perfect.